Hey everyone, Meinke from MLive.com. Doing Atkins, another Sunday at Ford Field, another win, another comeback win. This one by a 16-13 margin from the Lions on Thanksgiving against Minnesota. It's a huge win for Detroit as they take over sole possession of first place in the North. I think very little about this game has to surprise us, Nate. It's the same formula they've used all year. Slug it out for 3 quarters and then really win the fourth.
Yeah, probably the one surprising point is how fast they came in. They started at that 12-play, 75-yard drive, and it looked like Matthew Stafford was really going to pick his way. But then things tightened up, and you knew they would. And I thought Stafford really struggled for a long portion of that game, somewhat due to pass protection, somewhat due to receivers. But he came in when it mattered most, and that's just what they find a way to do. They get a long drive at the end. They sort of get their guys in position. They just find a way to get it to Matt Prater to win, and so far he's killing the Vikings.
11 games this year. The Lions have trailed in every game, and not just that, but they've actually trailed in the last 2 minutes of 10 of 11 games. They're in first place in the North. It's truly remarkable. It is a testament to Stafford. He did it last week too against Jacksonville with the comeback and sealing it with a long drive. After a lot of problems during that game, they sealed it with a long drive there in the fourth. But much like the Philadelphia game, the game that started this run, this 6 wins in 7 weeks thing, he doesn't do what he did if it's not for Darius Slay. Darius Slay came up with a big fumble recovery in that Philadelphia game, came out here against Minnesota, came up with a huge interception on trap coverage, kind of tricked Sam Bradford into throwing it to the slot guy, really baited him into throwing it to him, and broke it the last second, picked off the ball, got the Lions the ball back, and the rest is history.
Yeah, Darius Slay was huge today. He also had that play where he forced the interception to Glover Quinn in a very borderline call, took that back. But you're starting to see some of his what Jim Caldwell calls that riverboat gambler mentality. You're starting to see it lead to turnovers. That hasn't been his reputation, but he had 2 of those plays today. And as they told us with the trap coverage, they're finding ways to scheme him into those positions where he can kind of make them pay. And he picked quite a moment to finally get it done today.
Glover Quinn, by the way, called an audible, not an audible, but he called the defensive scheme on that play. Just kind of interesting to note, a KG veteran. I remember he did that a couple of years ago against New Orleans too. He called a play because he knew Drew Brees' tendency in a specific situation.
Right.
Got the interception in a big comeback win. Did the same thing today with Darius Slay. Very big moment in that game for them. Switching to the offense, I think there's a lot to like about the Lions and their ability in the fourth to pull these games out, but there's also a lot to be concerned about as we look forward to a really difficult final month of the season. A couple of really difficult road games there, including to Dallas, to New York. Lions have to shore up some issues they have there on offense, particularly with the run game.
Yeah, I think right now you're seeing they're having a few struggles there at that guard spot. They kind of went back and forth between Laken Tomlinson and Graham Glasgow. They struggled in a couple areas, run blocking, and also some of the stunts and the blitzes up the middle, I think, really threw Matthew Stafford off his game. So you give them a bit of a pass this week. They only had a couple days to practice to try and get a little bit of that resolve. But you'd like to see them find a way, if you're the Lions, to find a way to get the same group of guys out there and at least build a little continuity. The running plays worked a little bit better, partially because of Stafford scrambling. But in general, they need to be more consistent. They need to be able to trust it on a 3rd and 1, like they had at the end that they didn't convert, and they ended up having to kick it.
Right, and we've seen the Lions use that short passing game quite a bit, kind of in place of a running game, and it's come back to bite them a couple of times. And in this game, there's a lot to like from Golden Tate and some of the wideouts, but the extended absence of Marvin Jones, I think, is something to be concerned about. I got it right here. He had 11 targets in this game, 4 catches. That's just not enough from your supposedly #1 receiver. And he had a really hot first month of the season, but he's really faded from the offensive plans. And it's okay when it's working, but the offense has not been working lately. They need that kind of weapon, that vertical threat, and he has not been that. He just seems very much out of sync with Stafford. And I think some balls have been a little off, but I think also Marvin Jones has missed some balls or dropped some balls that he should have caught.
Yeah, this Lions team's only going to get at its best if it can find a few ways to, on very rare occasion, make a defense pay for playing up in the short passes and let Matthew Stafford really rip it downfield. It's why they gave $20 million guaranteed to Marvin Jones to make those plays. And you saw at that possession where they ended up tying the game on a field goal, that was a chance they had on a fade. It was a total chance play, but that's the kind of one they want to see come through once in a while to sort of be at their best, and especially if they get into any situation where they have to come back multiple scores, they need that kind of play to be there.
not to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. Though I picked the Lions to win this game. You picked them to lose this game.
You got me.
You weren't convinced the Lions were favorites in the North. What do you think now? They have this game in hand. They have a season sweep of the Vikings. They have a game lead in the standings. What do you think now with 5 to go?
Yeah, they're absolutely legit. I mean, you can throw out all the talk about is this luck, is this magic. They keep doing it every single week. I think for them this was an absolute must-win because they, like you said, they get 2 games up on the Vikings, and they've got some tough road games coming up. And if you look at the Vikings schedule, I mean, if they can find a way to right the course, which is certainly not a given, they've got a much easier path to get to the end of the season than you think about road games for the Lions at Dallas, New Orleans, New York. So this was absolutely crucial getting the driver's seat, and as long as they play pretty well through the final few games, I think they'll have this one.
The Lions do have they have that difficult road stretch, but they do have Chicago at home, which should be a should-win game, and they also have Green Bay at home in the season finale. I'm very curious to see what's on the line for that game. If that certainly should be playoff implications, and if not, division title implications, and that's very interesting with the history the Lions and the Packers have. But it will be a difficult stretch for the Lions. They are finding ways to win games, and you have to like that. Their offense is playing well. They have a flawed team, but they figured out how they can win games. Their defense is clamping down, and their offense is doing what it has to, particularly in the fourth quarter, behind a hot and experienced quarterback. You give them all the experience in the world for that, but it is the margins for error are slim.
Yeah.
And when you play Dallas on the road, when you play New York on the road, those margins could shrink to nothing. And this team has to play better, I think, to have a chance of winning the division.
Yeah.
I think, to be clear, I think they're favorites, but they have to play better.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And today they eliminated all the killer mistakes, the sort of big turnovers, but there are times on the road where that might happen. So you're right. They've got to find ways to play a little bit better in those games, but you got to like what you see.
It will be a very interesting final month of the season. We can say that.
No doubt.
Lions in sole possession of first place in the North after Thanksgiving. We'll be all over it. For Nate, I'm Kyle. We are MLive. Keep it right here.